are we not dating anymore? Like, we don't go to the movies. We're not. What do y'all do on first dates? Like, I feel like I'm so out of touch with this. Hey everyone, welcome back to Speak Now, Never Hold Your Peace podcast, where I am your host, Ebony Stiff, and I am ready to get into tonight's episode. As you can see, I'm still home, which means I am recovering well. I can podcast from my house. I am now actually working. Your girl is back working. So I am super, super excited. I went outside for the weekend. So it is going well. Thank you guys for going on that journey with me. I know it was not expected, but we are here. I am healing very, very well, and I am ready to get into tonight's episode. I hope you have on your pajamas. I am wearing a black butterfly dress. So the dress is black with gold butterflies. Butterflies are my favorite. And that's what I want tonight. So tonight, I actually want to get into answering questions from you guys. So I had the pajama tour. It went really, really well. During that time, the audience members were asked to put questions in a box, and I would go through the questions and answer the questions. At that time, I also had a co-host with me, SQ. He is one of the best DJs here in the Tampa area by way of Miami, because he is from Miami. So if you have any event where you need a DJ in the Tampa area, Miami area, SQ is the one to hit up. It goes by DJ Dollar. So, hey, that's what it is. So I did not want to forget about those people who ask questions. So tonight I decided to go through the box, answer some more questions, and, let's see what they had on their mind. So here's the box here. I'm not cheating. It's in my lap, and I'm just going to pull for it. I don't know what the questions are. So we are going to be surprised together, and we are going to answer these questions. Let's see what they have. So it says, see, I'm making this up. It says, why are six-figure women struggling with finding someone? Ooh, that's a good question. I think sometimes when women are making more than the man feels like they're less than, and sometimes they just don't go after what their heart desires. So sometimes I think women who are making their own money and are able to support themselves and don't need a man, and I said need in quotation marks, to take care of them financially, some men possibly are not too secure in that. And so that's why you'll have women who want to be loved, who want a man, and they are having trouble finding them just because of the amount of money that they make. And I think sometimes that may be intimidating to a man. So I feel that women who are struggling to find a man for financial reasons only is because they would be the breadwinner, and until they find a man that is okay with that, then they'll be struggling. Next question. Let's see what we have here. Do you have any advice for someone entering their 20s? Oh, I got a lot of advice. Okay. Entering your 20s, I would definitely say be in tune with your body medically. Know what's going on. Make sure you go for your regular checkups. Make sure you're going to the dentist. Make sure that you are in tune with what's going on with your body, and do not be afraid to go to the doctor. I was in my late 20s when I found out that I had breast cancer, and I think that's what helped me survive, is because it was early detection. So I was very in tune with what was going on in my 20s as far as my body was concerned. Also in my 20s, I was in college. I would say college is not for everyone. You don't have to go to college to be successful. Is it great? Yes. Is it necessary for some things that you want to achieve in life? College is the way. It is necessary for whatever career path you want to go on. If you are not there yet, that is okay. If you're not ever going to be in a situation where you want to go to college, that's okay. College isn't for everyone. So in your 20s, I would say enjoy life. Try to figure out what it is that you want to be doing so that you're not in your 30s and your 40s trying to figure out what it is you want to do with your life. So definitely enjoy it. You're coming into adulthood. You're finding out what adulting is really like. So you may not like it here. You may wish that you were a child. So I would say enjoy it as long as you can. This is a time too where you're going to make everlasting relationships. You're going to make partnerships. So get out and network and try to be the best person, best version of yourself because you're setting yourself up for your future. So your 20s are so important. Still have fun, still enjoy life. Whatever that path is that you're going to take, do it boldly, do it proudly. And I will also say in my 20s, I also connected to my spiritual father. And when I say my spiritual father, I mean God. I got a very, very deeper connection with God within my faith. I was going to church more because I was going on my own. I didn't have my mom and my dad telling me you got to go to church on Sundays. Those were decisions that I made on my own. So if you have a higher power, if you believe in God, I would say definitely you want to get connected and stay connected in your 20s because 20s are fun. Okay. What was your childhood like? My childhood was very interesting. I have one sister. I grew up in the household with one sister. I also grew up in the household with my mother and my bonus father. And it was very, very different than what children are growing up in now, which, of course, times are not the same. So, my childhood, I was in Miami. I had lots of fun. I was around family more than I would say my children are now. So I remember going on family reunion trips every other year. I remember going to Disney World. I didn't have a lot of friends like where I would stay the night at their houses and things like that. I had one childhood friend growing up, and we're still friends to this day. So Alicia, I love you. We've been friends since I was 6 years old. So that was my childhood. We were very family oriented. I stayed in the neighborhood. We had to come inside, when the before the street lights come on. We were outside kids. We played outside a lot. I could not wait to go outside. So I had to do my homework, had to make sure my room was clean, I had to make sure the dishes were washed, and then I could go outside. And I made sure that I did those things because I just wanted to be outside. So I played a lot outside. And then also going into I did visit with my dad's side of the family a lot. My dad was very much involved in my life until he passed away in my adulthood. And so I got to spend a lot of time with both sides of my family. I it was just great. My grandmother was great. My grandfather, I enjoyed going over to their house after school. My dad would pick me up and sometimes take me over there, or he and I would just hang out. I was very, very spoiled. And I don't know how that's helped me in adulthood, but I was a very spoiled child, especially by my dad. I was an only child on my dad's side. So I enjoyed my childhood, and if I could go back, I would. I mean, being a child it was great. I had a great childhood. This says, why get married? I mean, why not? Why not? So some people say that, oh, it's just a piece of paper. It doesn't mean anything. It means a lot, especially it's a commitment. It's a covenant between yourself. It's a covenant between you and God and the person that you're going to marry. So excuse me if I said that incorrectly the first time, but it's a covenant between you and God and your spouse. And I want someone that's going to be willing to commit to me and be willing to get that piece of paper. If it's just a piece of paper, then why don't we have it? Right? But it's more than that. If something happens in your family, if something happens to you, let's just say, God forbid, you get into a car accident or something like that, they're not going to call your boyfriend. They're going to call the next of kin, or they're not going to call your girlfriend or whomever you're in a relationship with. They're going to call the next of kin. And if you don't have that piece of paper, they're not calling that person. That person's voice will not matter, and I've seen it. So it definitely matters. It matters. So why get married? I love love. I definitely want to be married. I don't want to be single. I definitely feel like it's an important piece of paper. So get the paper. Why not get the paper? Get commit. I think my grandma or mom used to say, well, they're not gonna buy the cow if they can get the milk for free. So stop giving your milk away for free. Get the paper. All right. This one says, in marriage, is there any limits to what will be tolerated when it comes to experimenting with sexual gratification? Okay, for me, yes, there are limits. And the limit that I definitely want to speak about, because I know it's very popular, I don't believe in sharing my husband. So that's my limit. We're not bringing nobody in here with us. Like that's mine. That's how I want to keep that. Yeah, but to each his own. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. It's just that we're not doing that over here. We're not doing that. Mm-mm. So I do have limitations as far as if an experiment involves another person. No, we're not doing that. If an experiment involves pain, I'm not doing that. I'm just not a fan of that. Some people do not have limitations, and that works well for them. So I say, know your partner, know what works well for you, and do what works for you and your marriage, and you'll be fine. All right, next question. How would you describe your current journey / career, being a realtor, an author, a podcast host, etc.? So I'll start at realtor. I actually did not dream of becoming a realtor. It was not in my cards. It was not on my to-do list. I actually started this to help someone else in my family, and it took off. And I actually learned to love it. So my current journey as a realtor has taken me beyond anything that I could have ever imagined. And I'm actually upset that I didn't do it sooner. Being a realtor is awesome. It gives me the freedom, the flexibility to be with my kids, go on vacation, be with my family, and it gives me financial freedom as well. So being a realtor is great. Being an author has also opened up new doors. Well, it says author and podcast, so I'll tie them together, because being an author also inspired me to just continue getting the word out there and talking to people and connecting and educating and inspiring, which I do through my book. And now I'm also doing it through the podcast. So I think that being an author on this journey, it's been amazing. I have been able to travel the world. It has opened people up to know who I am. It has inspired other women. I get so many calls and texts and DMs about people who are just inspired by the things that I say, the things that I do, and how I have not let things just hold me back and steal my joy and steal my peace. So being an author is so rewarding, and being a podcast host is like, what? This is great. It's amazing. I get to talk. I get to inspire. I get to do it in my PJs and just be comfortable. And I love it. So this journey and career, it's a different career because my authorship came because of what happened to me that I didn't plan. So I would say that none of this realtor, author, podcaster is not what I would have ever written down in my deck of cards for life. But I love the hand that I was dealt, and I thank God for it, and I wouldn't change it for anything in this world. Okay, next question. Can you be in love with two people? For me, it's a no. I cannot be in love with two people. It's I either love you and I'm in love with you and I want to be with you, or I don't. I'm not. I can't be in love with two people. I just think that just takes too much work, too much energy, too much time, too much focus. And I am one human being, so I want to give all of my one love from this one human being to another one person. I just don't. No, I cannot be in love with two people. People say it's possible, to each his own, but as for me, it's a no. Like, how is that possible? How is that possible? I think about the Bible. It says you'll love one and hate the other. You can't serve two masters. So it's like, how am I gonna be? I just don't have that kind of energy. No, I'm not in love with two people. This says sex on the first date is, and then it has a question mark. It's a no for me. Sex on the first date is a no for me. I think that people don't know how to date anymore. I think that's a problem. People just expect to get physical, and I'm not inviting all those spirits into my space, because I feel like when you lay down with someone and you make those connections, somehow that person is like a part of you, and I just don't want. I don't want that a part of me on the first date. I don't know you. And where am I going on the first day that I'm sleeping with somebody? Are we not dating anymore? Like, we don't go to the movies. We're not. What do y'all do on first dates? Like, I feel like I'm so out of touch with this. But first date, sex on the first date, no. I've never done it. I'm not a fan of it, and I don't desire to do it now at the age that I'm at. Like, that's just not something that I want to pick up and start doing. A date is a date. Like, take me somewhere, let's get to know each other, and then we decide, if we want to do that. But it will not be on the first date. No, that is not a date to me. That's a hookup session, and I'm not doing that. All right, let's see. This says, what is a growth mindset in your opinion? A growth mindset is, in my opinion, is when you're open to learning new things, and you know that you don't know it all, and that's okay, and you don't pretend to know it all, and then you are in the mindset, okay, what can I learn from this situation? How can I grow? Look in the mirror at yourself and say, okay, what happened in this situation where I can be a better version of myself for somebody else? That is growth. When you're not willing to stay in the same place that you were just because it's comfortable, just because it's familiar, and then especially if it's wrong. Growing is a part of life, and you have to be in the growth mindset to be successful, because nobody knows it all. Anything can be better, anything can be worthwhile learning if you're open to it. So to have a growth mindset, you have to, one, realize that there is opportunity to grow no matter what you're doing, and then be willing to put in the work to grow. So that's my answer for that. I like that question. I really do like that question. Okay, next one. Is it better to be single or in a relationship? I can't really say one is better than the other. That's more of an individualized question. Some people like to be in relationships. Some people prefer to be single based on what their experience with life and based on what their experiences have been in those situations. So I can't say that it's better to be in a relationship. Some people just are not relationship material. And if they know that, that's fine. As long as they express that that's what the goal is in the beginning, you don't have confusion, then go ahead, be single, live your life. That's cool. And some people are relationship material. For me, I prefer to be in a relationship. I love love. That's just me. That's just where I want to be. So for me, I would prefer to be in a relationship, but I'm not gonna force it. I don't. It's fine to be single for a while too, so I can get to know myself better and realize what makes me happy, so that I could be a better version of me for somebody else. So for me, in a relationship is better, but I say whatever floats your boat. That's what I need you to do. Okay, I'm going to answer one more because I did not realize that there were so many questions in this box, and I'm having fun, but I also want to keep in mind the time, right? Because I don't ever really podcast for a long time. I don't like to keep you for a long time. So this is going to be the very last question. Oh, it's a good one. It says, how can I be more confident and bold? Isn't this, this is like the perfect last question. How can you be more confident and bold? Oh, sorry, I hit the microphone. I got so excited. To be confident is, you have to be comfortable with who you are. Comfortable with who you are. And who you are, what that looks like, only you know that. So to be comfortable is confident is to accept who you are, to know who you are, and to be comfortable with that. That will help build your confidence. The next thing for me to be as confident as I am, I know that everything that I have is a blessing from God. So man didn't give it to me, and man can't take it away from me. And there's nothing that you could do to change my mind about that. There's nothing you could say to change my mind about that. So that is how I am confident in who I am. I know who I am. I know who God called me to be and who he created me to be. And it doesn't get any better than that. It does not get any better than that. So my spirituality helps me to be confident, knowing who I am, accepting who I am, and being comfortable in that skin helps me to be confident. Also, education. To be confident in something, you have to know what you're talking about. So if you don't know something, that's okay. Go get the knowledge, go get the education so that you can know what it is that you're speaking about, what it is that you have an opinion about. You don't just want to be walking around sounding uneducated, right? You don't want to do that. So get some education about whatever it is that you want to be confident in, because you can't be confident in something you have no clue about. So you're going to have to study it, you're going to have to get education, and then that will help you build your confidence. Also, believing that what you're doing is right. If you know that you're doing something that is not right, then you can't be confident in that. So I would say you need to be confident in what you're doing, knowing that it's right. That will definitely help build your confidence. You don't want to be wrong in any aspect of anything that you're doing. You want to be right. You want to be doing it with good intentions. You want to be doing it with a pure heart, sound mind. So those are things that help me be confident. And then to be bold, speak now. Speak, 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 speak. That is going to help you be, that's as bold as it gets. I'm not saying be speaking and being, like disrespectful. I'm not saying that. Speak confidently about whatever it is that you believe in, and that is what helps me to be bold. It's not easy. It took a while because at first, I felt like, nobody's listening to things that I was going through or believing in me. But I believe in myself. I'm confident, and I am boldly going to speak about it. So if you're not bold enough yet to just come out and speak about it, maybe write it down and then practice. Then you'll have the confidence to speak boldly. Stand up for what you believe in. Speak boldly, respectfully. I'm not saying go out there and, speak now, cussing people out and being disrespectful. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying speak now and never hold your peace. I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be in this space to answer questions. Thank you to all of you that attended the pajama tour and asked those wonderful questions. I am having another pajama tour soon. That information will be available. And then guess what? I only have one more episode after this for the season. So season 1 will be wrapping up in 2 weeks. It will be my final episode. And I cannot wait to see you guys. Have a good week. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Speak Now, Never Hold Your Peace. You can find me bi-weekly on the Alive Podcast Network or anywhere that you listen to your podcast. Until next time, speak now and never hold your peace.